Hey guys, MCU Collector here with another figure review, and next up is the Diamond Select Toys Star Wars Darth Maul Disney Store exclusive. This is the second figure to be produced by Diamond Select Toys, the first one being the Boba Fett figure that I already reviewed. Next up is the Darth Maul, which was funny because these figures were not announced. Boba Fett started showing up in store. I was able to pick it up. Then the Disney Store UK, someone spotted Darth Maul, and then finally Disney and Star Wars went ahead and announced it. Disney Store sent out an email saying, hey, new Star Wars Select figures by Diamond available to order online now. So that I was able to put in an order for Darth Maul and get him shipped right away. So I am very excited. I am not much of a Star Wars collector. I have a few odds and ends here, and I collect the 40th anniversary cards and like the credit collection because those Kenner cards. I'm just a sucker for that retro type of thing. So with the Star Wars line, because these are brand new, I can get into the line at a new starting point. I went ahead, got that Boba Fett, and now have this Darth Maul. So unfortunately, I will not be able to do a comparison with the Black Series figure for you guys, but you guys just know that it is way out of scale. It isn't going to work, but you will see the side-by-side with a Boba Fett there. So without further ado, let's get into it. So exactly like the Boba Fett packaging, it's all white. We have the Star Wars logo there, Darth Maul on the side, select. We get a little circle down here at the bottom. It says exclusively at Disney. Looking at the side artwork, it's an actual image of Darth Maul from Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. Looking at the back, we just have a close-up, zoomed-in look at Darth Maul. There's no bio or anything like that there. It is $24.99 at the Disney Store, as you can see. So let's open him up and see what he is all about. Okay, and here is the Darth Maul figure out of the package, and some really good things going on there, and then some typical Diamond Select things. So if you were looking for a highly articulated figure, this is not the one for you. This is not the figure you're looking for. It's just not... It's not it. Diamond Select Toys has some greatly sculpted figures, some well-painted figures, but the articulation is just not there. Now, Mayshelf sculpted this entirely, including the accessories, and he did a fantastic job. The articulation points were not on him, essentially, as he said that Diamond Select added in some cuts or made some changes from what he had sculpted, of course. But overall, I do really like the figure, and there are some really good things going for it. But again, more of a display piece and not a toy photography esque type of figure. So let's get into the accessories first, then we'll take a closer look at the figure and then move on from it to his articulation. Okay, so for accessories, first thing we're going to take a look at is out of the package. His two hands are these open hands or force, like using hands type of thing, if you're using the force or whatever. He comes with two additional sets of interchangeable hands. So we have some fists, as you can see here, and then we have two open holding hands, so he can hold the lightsaber there. So we also, with the lightsaber, of course, we have the hilt, which, let me remove the blades from there. Here is the hilt, and that looks really good as it tries to focus in. So there it is. It's done in a nice silver color plastic. We get some red in there for like the buttons, which I guess would also be lights. I haven't watched episode 1 in quite a while. And we get some black lines painted on in there as it has trouble focusing. So that looks really good, and you can see the blades are just going to port right on in those peg holes there. And then one thing is that the hilt actually does come apart. So you have this little extended piece there, and it just ports in together like so. Now, it was in there fairly well until, as I was trying to put this into Darth Maul's hand, is when I realized that it actually comes apart, and it does seem a little loose. Focus. It does seem a little loose, and even like twisting it is kind of easy, where it didn't really seem like that before. So just be careful of that. We get these two blade pieces here. It's just done in a red, a translucent plastic color, and that looks pretty good. And the way this works is you're just going to port that right on into there, and it fits nice and snug. It will not fall out or anything like that, so nothing to worry about there. And we get two of those blades, of course, because it is the double blade for Darth Maul. So you could see like so. And this thing's actually tall, so like standing up, if you're looking at it, if the blade is hitting the ground, it's still like an inch taller than Darth Maul. So that is pretty good. Now, in addition to these blades, we actually get these effect blades. So here's this one. So as it's swinging, you actually get that lightsaber glow streak, which is really cool. And I like the way it's sculpted. Like we even have, you know, a hole there, so it really kind of gives it a little bit more of a realistic look. So as he's swinging the lightsaber, you get that glow effect. So that is just really awesome there. And we actually get two of them, as you can see there, and they are actually the same. They are not different. They are the exact same. So if you pop out the other one, so if you're doing like a spinning motion, you would have the two, right? And it would look like the blade is spinning type of thing. So if you do something like that, that's kind of the idea, right? So that is a really cool concept. I really like that. And then we get this green translucent piece that's supposed to go with the lightsaber or something. It's kind of an odd piece, as you can see there. I don't know exactly how it's going to kind of work. I guess it would make sense that if it was, you know, in a lightsaber battle, but, you know, with Darth Maul and only Boba Fett having been released so far, you know, there's not a whole lot that we can do with this. So I'm going to play around with it a little bit and kind of see exactly how that's going to work with the lightsaber. Okay, so this piece, you could use it as if it were kind of like a lightsaber battle, but it's more of a blast effect, so he could deflect it with the lightsaber. So, you know, if it's coming in here, it hits off the lightsaber and shoots out. So that's kind of the idea going on with that. Be careful trying to get the blade to kind of push through. It kind of comes a little warped. It's a very hard plastic though, so I bet it's something that you probably could break, and it's actually quite spiky, so it's not like you could just grip that easily to force that blade through. So do be careful with that. You may want to heat yours up a little bit to get that blade coming through, so be careful with that. Okay, here's another thing to be careful with. So I just put the blade, the streak lightsaber blade effect on there. I just pushed it into the lightsaber, and see that crack right there? Be very careful not to force it in too much, which I didn't think I did, but I guess, you know, it only goes down so far. As you can see the little indent there. It should only go that far. I pushed it in a little too much, which then caused that crack, as you could see there. So be very, very careful. I'm going to try not to make that same mistake on this side, but this one is a little bit harder to kind of get that blade piece in there. So it pushes in nice and stiff there and didn't really cause that issue to where it cracked the hilt. Okay, and to show you the blade effect kind of in its use and kind of what it's designed for, as you can see, like spinning around, it kind of gives it that streak motion, because we know Darth Maul and Ray Park in the movie, how he was able to do that. The guy's just amazing in what he could do in the choreography of it. Just makes it look so easy. Well, I'm having a hard time spinning it on hand, but it gives that nice effect, which I think is just really, really cool. Okay, so here's an up-close look at the Darth Maul head sculpt. So I've seen some good on like Instagram. I've seen some negative, and I've seen some disrespectful comments. I think the head sculpt looks good. Do I think it's the best? No, I don't. But I don't think it's nearly as terrible as lots of people make it out to seem. I absolutely see Darth Maul in there. I think the facial expression is what's kind of throwing it off. I would have liked to see either that calm face, you know, the look that he has as he's waiting for Obi-Wan Kenobi. I really would have liked to see that, as opposed to kind of this angry face. I think it kind of makes it look like he's got a bit of an overbite, so there's some things kind of in that jaw with that facial expression, but I do think it looks pretty good. Looks like they missed a little bit of the paint right there for that little horn. It's mainly just red with a little tiny dab of that bone or horn color there. But otherwise they look pretty good, and they're hard. They're not like rubbery or anything. They do feel kind of spiky. That one in the center, either the paint isn't centered or that horn wasn't quite centered, and then his eyes, the black pupil, this one's kind of way high, makes him look up, whereas this one's a little straight out, so a little cross-eyed, but not terrible. But I do think it is really good and not as bad as people are making it out to seem. Now, the rest of the figure is just all in black. We get some shiny black in some areas, kind of where the sash belt would be. The elbow joints, unfortunately, kind of gets that shinier plastic in there. His gloves are a shinier plastic. His boots are a shinier plastic. The rest of it is just black. Now, I did see Mayshelf had mentioned that, you know, how can he he make it stand out when it's all just one color. So the texture that they put in there is what really helps to make it stand out on the figure, since it's just basically done all in black. This is all just a rubbery material. It's a little pliable, but not a whole lot that you can kind of play around with it there. So nothing really else to talk about there. So let's zoom out for the articulation, which is very limited, by the way, very, very limited. Okay, so Darth Maul, his head sculpt, he can look down that much, which isn't great, but it's also not terrible. He can only look up that high, which is straight out. He cannot look up whatsoever. You get some turn in there, but there's a little bit of resistance, like it wants to go right back to kind of looking straight out, but you can do it. There's some pivot going on that way and that way, as you can see there, and you can get a full rotation, but you kind of really have to force it. There's something about it which has that resistance in there, so it's just kind of weird. So that is the movement in the head. His shoulders can go out straight out like so. You can do a full rotation in there, of course. You have a single jointed elbow that has the swivel, so you could swivel that arm around all you want there. And then the elbow, you're only going to get 90-degree bend, as you can see there. Wrists swivel, and they do hinge. His diaphragm joint, he has a diaphragm rocker, but it's very limited there too. So you kind of get some circular motion, but you're not really going to get him to tilt to either side very much. So there's that little bit, there's that little bit, and that's all you're going to get. There's back, which if you notice, it didn't really look like any change because there's really not any change, as you can see. That's total movement there. So going forward, that's it. It's very limited, but you do have the swivel at that diaphragm joint, so you can't get him to turn there. The legs go out that far apart. As you can see, his robes really do hinder that a little bit. So that is all you're going to do. You can kick forward only that far because the robes do get in the way a little bit there, unfortunately. So yeah, it kind of wants, there's some resistance, and it just wants to go right back to where it was there as well. There is a thigh cut in there though, so you can turn the thigh, which is great. And it has an awesome double jointed knee that I really, really like, because it looks like a very natural bend to the knee, as you can see there. So that is great. So it bends out that much, just about 90 degrees, but it looks like a very, very natural knee bend. So I really, really like that. There is no boot swivel at the boot, but his foot hinges down that much, hinges up a little bit as well. You have ankle rocker pivot and peg holes at the bottom of the feet. So limited articulation, but it is also Diamond Select toys, so no one should have had any expectations of more articulation than what we have here. It's pretty standard for Diamond Select. Okay, and here's our side-by-side comparison of both Star Wars Select figures, the Boba Fett and Darth Maul. As you can see, they are about the same height. Darth Maul might be a little bit taller, so Boba Fett definitely is shorter for someone that actually has a large helmet on there. And one thing I did not show in that review is the range tracker, range finder. It actually does articulate down, so he can use it there. So that is pretty cool that they did that. So there they are, side by side. And unfortunately, again, I don't really have any loose Star Wars Black Series figures to show you size comparisons, but of course, Diamond Select always does a 7-inch scale, so it is not going to scale well with other figures. So like a 6-inch Marvel Legends absolutely just towers over that. Black Series is probably going to be even shorter than that, so it's just not going to work. And for the fun of it, since Transformers Red figures are kind of a hot topic right now, as you can see, Darth Maul is towering over the itty-bitty Optimus Prime in the robot enhanced design figures that are exclusive to Walmart. And I even cheated with the drop-down ankles that I did not know about in my review to make Optimus a little bit taller. He is still short and tiny. About a couple last size comparisons with some other Diamond Select toys. We have the Marvel Mini-Mates Walgreens exclusive, the Falcon and the Winter Soldier TV show in the MCU, going to be coming out on Disney Plus next year. We have the Falcon, Sam Wilson, and we have John Walker as Captain America, aka U.S. Agent, and they're tiny. That's just a fun one to throw in. Okay, so trying to kind of work Darth Maul can be a little bit tricky. So with all the limitations of the articulation, it's definitely tough. Like, to get him to hold the hilt with both hands is a struggle because there's no butterfly joints. We have the single jointed elbow. The swivel is at the elbow, so it's really tough. So the hands have to come all the way to the blades almost, and you can see it doesn't really hold it straight as it's starting to bend and come apart there. So it's really tricky. And then because of his legs and the extremely limited diaphragm joint, dynamic poses are very difficult for somebody that can flip around and do all kinds of crazy stuff and moves around insane. The figure just can't do that, so it's difficult in that aspect. Now, I don't know about the Black Series. You guys can let me know down in the comments, but I think people weren't too happy with that one in terms of articulation as well. People are saying that the Boba Fett, you know, might have better articulation than the Black Series, you know, until that new Black Series one comes out. So with this Darth Maul, it's difficult to really be able to get him around into some cool things. But if you do some kind of little pose, something like this, this would look amazing on a shelf. So that's something that anyone can really do. If I'm able to do it, you guys would be able to do it, because there's a lot of talented folks that can do some all kinds of crazy things. But you know, that is a challenge. Switching out the hands is very easy to do. This a blast effect or rebound effect or deflector effect is really cool. It'll be nice when there's additional figures that are going to be able to kind of come along, because technically Boba Fett's a bad guy, right? And Darth Maul is a bad guy. So we have two villains and no heroes to fight the villains. So it's just kind of all over the place. And I would imagine Darth Vader, son of a what? Outtake right there. We're going to keep that rolling. So I would imagine Darth Vader's coming, which just means another villain. So who knows, you know, when like a Luke Skywalker is going to come, or kind of how that's going to be. But, you know, you always use one blade, you know, if you wanted to, or you can separate it and he can have two, you know, going at the same time kind of thing, depending on how you want to do it. So it is really cool. My final thoughts on it, for 25 bucks, I think it is a pretty good value. The accessories are really cool. I really like, again, this glow streak effect for the lightsabers. That is, I think, a really awesome touch. So I'm curious to see what Diamond Select is going to do in the future to further expand on the Star Wars Select line. Will it always be exclusive to the Disney Store? I'm leaning towards it probably will, which does kind of limit them getting into the hands of everyone that might be interested. But I think ordering online is probably going to be your best bet. This was easy enough to order. I don't think it sold out that particular day, but I really wasn't watching it either. But you guys let me know down in the comments below. Were you able to score Darth Maul? Have you seen it in stores aside from the Disney Store UK across the pond? You know, they've already been finding it in store. But I'm curious to know what you guys think of the figure, what you guys think of Darth Maul. If you guys like this video, please hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you haven't already done so. Hit that notification bell. And as always, thank you for watching.